Okay. It's preparing and looks like the meeting is now live. Great. Okay. Good morning, everybody. It's good to see you all. I know some of our folks said that they were going to either be late or had other stuff going on today. So we're missing a few, and I've added additional people into the invitation that have recently requested to be a part of it. So maybe we'll see some new people as well. Of course, every one of our churches, every Sunday, or not every Sunday, every week gets an invitation to this meeting. And so it's the church email addresses that get an invitation, communicators that were identified from their charge conference forms, and other communicators that maybe one person knew, oh, well, we still have these other staff people, or, oh, here's the contact person for that one, or just via subscribing. So in case you ever were wondering who all actually joins here, it is people that consider themselves church communicators, which I am one. And I'm seeing, why do I have a DSC communications? Oh, I know why, because hopefully Lori Davalos is joining us today. She's one of our staff admin. She is now working with Reverend Dave McPherson, but you know, she does it all. And I'm guessing that her camera's off right now because I asked her super last minute, hey, why don't you join us and see what this is like? Anyway, so if you guys happen to have questions about New and Vital Faiths, that's who she's directly supporting, but she does help everybody. And I thought it'd be helpful for her to hear some of the conversations that we have. So today, to get us started, the stuff that I sent you guys in the invitation, it was 3 things. It was a reminder and a link that on January 25th through the 26th, the online version, because that's the only way they're doing events right now, of the LEAD conference is going to be happening. And I included a link to find out more, to register, to get graphics for it, so you can advertise in your church communications channels. The cool thing about this LEAD conference, it's not a Desert Southwest Conference event. It is a United Methodist thing, but it's basically taken a life of its own. It originated in the Desert Southwest Conference. And in fact, I believe it was Glenn Campbell, who was either part of the planning team or the leader of the planning team for LEAD. I could be way off, but anyway, it was originally a Desert Southwest Conference event, and now it started to stretch out to Western jurisdiction, and now it's across the United States, and now we don't host it, but it's still going to be a great event, I'm sure. And so I encourage you all to take a look at that information, see if it fits within your area's interests or needs. The next thing, it's kind of short notice. It's from Reconciling Ministries Network. On January 14th, they're kicking off a new online group. I want to say it's a webinar. You know, you can read more about it in those links that I shared. And if you have questions about it, I don't remember if I put a contact person in there, but I will, when we finish this meeting and I send you guys the follow-up email, I'll include the contact person in that email, but then I'll add it to the website, and maybe not on the Facebook event, but to the website I will. And if you guys have questions about it, please interrupt, let me know. So part of that Reconciling Ministries Network thing, I think what they're going to have down the road, it sounds like they're going to have some articles that they're going to schedule to go out like once a month leading up to, I believe there's a Reconciling Ministries Sunday, like in June. And my guess is they're probably going to have some worship resources for that as well. A few conversations ago that we've all had, we've talked about a new page that we're creating that's going to house all the conference worship resources. And later this week, I'll be meeting with Extended Cabinet to finalize that idea. So far, the items that we identified as potential, oh, there we go, potential Sundays based off of stuff that the conference has offered in the past for worship resources for local church use, so that clergy can take that day off, or maybe clergy are super busy, or it's a good time for churches to hear from the bishop, that sort of thing. Here's a list of the Sundays that I believe will be included, but it's not a for sure. It's just based off of stuff that we've done in the past. So a new one is going to be Campus DSC, Campus Ministry Sunday. There is a Campus Ministry Sunday for the general church, but I believe it's as of this last annual conference. So last year, we had voted that we would have a Desert Southwest Conference Campus Ministry Sunday. That's going to happen next month. And Campus Ministry is working on resources for that. And the resources for that Sunday, which I believe is February 21st, those resources will be available on that dscumc.org/worship page. The next one is the Sunday after annual conference. We'll probably have worship stuff for that. The Sunday after Christmas, Sunday after, or the Sunday during the gathering, if it's scheduled during the gathering, Sunday after Easter, maybe Sunday after Lent, the longest night, which again, I don't really know exactly what day that is. I know we published it, but I published it in advance. So I think it's like, maybe it's supposed to be in place of Christmas Eve, or maybe the night before Christmas Eve, something like that. Sunday after General Conference, maybe the Sunday after Western Jurisdiction Conference, Sunday after Pentecost. And there's some talk about potentially hosting a conference-wide COVID-19 memorial. There is a national one that's going to happen pretty soon, but it's tied to the inauguration. So we're not, we're trying to avoid any political stuff with that. And, because it is tied to the inauguration, you could assume that it's connected to one side and not the other. And more importantly, the bishop, for example, was saying, like, maybe it's too soon to do something like that. We're still in the throes of it. Like, let's wait a little bit. But we're going to have conversations about that later this week. In fact, tomorrow with Extended Cabinet. So I'll have an update for you guys next week as far as what direction we're leaning towards in regard to a memorial for COVID-19. It's not a guarantee that we will do anything, because I'm sure churches, whether they get involved in national stuff or do their own thing, you don't need the conference to do that. It's just, they're going to have a conversation about it to see if there would be value in doing a conference-wide event and offering those resources. Okay, so yeah, the last piece was that DSC Campus Ministry Sunday on February 21st. In addition to those worship service resources that we're going to be providing on that worship page, we're working on a new web page, dscumc.org/campus-ministry. It's still in draft, so it's missing some information, and we're going to start developing a full communication strategy for campus ministry, so that your church will have tools, whether it's newsletter articles, social media graphics, apportionment videos, or this first video that we're going to publish for the February 21 service. It's supposed to be kind of an informational piece that you would use during announcements to kind of explain things like, I didn't know that I think it's called Wesley Foundation, that's at the ASU campus, I didn't realize that they're not really connected. It happens to be that that campus ministry lives or is located at a church that is on the ASU campus, but they're not, it doesn't belong to Tempe First UMC. It's a conference-wide ministry that needs to be supported by, well, that is supported by apportionment dollars. That's not to say that I'm sure Tempe First and campus ministry partner a lot in doing stuff together, but that doesn't exclude any other church in the area to connect with their campus ministry and do something as well, to invite them over to their church to maybe lead a sermon or have a conversation with their congregation.
Christina?
Yeah.
Do you want me to clarify a tiny bit?
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm kind of pointing to you, but you don't know that.
Sorry. Yes. So our Wesley pastor goes to churches all over the valley, actually, and we have donors that come from actually all over the country and internationally that have graduated from ASU and the Wesley program. It's about a 20 to 50 amount of kids that meet weekly to do a Bible study together. They were having dinners together every week, but due to COVID, that's not possible. I know that there are donors that have provided gift cards for these kids to continue to have a dinner every week, which sometimes this is the only square meal that they get. But it's an amazing program. And we have had, I can't tell you how many marriages, not necessarily here at Tempe First, but Methodist marriages all over the valley that have originated here at the Wesley ASU group. And one in particular happens to be my two oldest daughters who just graduated from ASU. They're high school counselor, and both him and his wife moved here. One was from Wisconsin, one was from Michigan, and they met here at Tempe First at the Wesley program. And so, and we have kids that come from Day Springs, Chandler, all over Phoenix, Glendale, Paradise Valley, that are attending ASU, but that attend Wesley for their activities to meet other Methodist kids. And it's an amazing program. And I'm not Methodist. So that being said, they do a lot. They try to do, several service projects a year. They also try to do 1 or 2 trips a year. It's an amazing program that these kids really need. I want to say 50% of the kids are international students, which is also another amazing component. So we probably right now have about 12 to 15 international and 12 to 15 from the Valley. And I know those numbers were higher, but also ASU's enrollment is down by almost 40%. So that kind of reflects into Wesley also because of COVID. But it's just an incredible program. And it's not just because it's housed here at Tempe First does not mean that, it's for kids for all over the Valley. And we have kids, the Day Springs pastor's children who've been attending ASU the past 3 years, and he has one more that's starting this next year, all attend Wesley activities. So, that's just, it's just an amazing thing. So I just wanted to do a plug for that and kind of differentiate that, the Wesley pastor goes over to different churches about once a month and talks about the program because we have so many Methodist kids here at ASU and they don't even know that we're here. And it should be, really honestly should be announced because it's such a, I want to say, a support program for these kids. We have a game center with foosball and air hockey and Xbox and a study area and copy machine. Free copies. I as a student, who does not love free copies? They're paying 10 cents a copy, and so it's an amazing connection, and also sometimes they do get some free parking in there. Not all the time, but depends on how often you're on campus. And there's no promises on that because things are changing so much here at Tempe First. But but there has been, opportunities for that, and parking permits at ASU are through the roof. So, I mean, I'm just there's so many opportunities, and and all the kids are having to show up is like 2 hours a week, and they get so many benefits. So I just wanted to
Yeah, thank
make a
you.
plug.
Appreciate
Sorry.
that. No, that
I
was
love it. I absolutely love it. And my kids who are Mormon have come and attended Wesley activities just because it's just so fun. And there's a huge LDS presence on ASU's campus. It's massive. It's a huge building. And they've come to Wesley activity just because it's just so fun, and have actually invited LDS kids and Muslim kids. And there have been
Mhm.
just a huge, I mean, we even had Newman Center, the Catholic kids across the street, joining us for an interfaith activity that they did once a year. So it's just a really great opportunity for the ASU Methodist kids to reach out.
Wonderful.
It's just so
Thank you.
fun.
So what I want to expand that a little bit, in that it's not just ASU, that we've got a Wesley Foundation at U of A,
Right.
at UNLV. I'm missing one. ASU, U of A, UNLV.
Well, there's Wesley, Christina, there's Wesley Foundations all over. Yeah, but there's Wesley Foundations all over the country, because I grew up in California, and my uncle was a Methodist pastor, and there was a Wesley Foundation at UCSD and SDSU. So it's all over.
Yeah. So with our conference, and all of those ministries, and they don't just minister to the universities. I believe it's Hannah Bonner's group at U of A, for example. They've got connections with the community colleges in that area as well. So, and it's not just United Methodist students. There are students of other faiths that actively participate. So one of the misunderstandings that I had, so in my mind, Wesley Foundations were like a local church youth group, but it's for college age kids. So that's way wrong, because it doesn't belong to that church. It belongs to the conference. And so it's ministry for all of us to support and to be supported by. So another thing that I was misunderstanding is, oh, cool. So churches can reach out to the Wesley Foundation in their area what if it was just, oh, we need some more VBS volunteers. So we're going to reach out to the Wesley Foundation and see if any of those students have the time and interest to help us out with our VBS. I was thinking of it that way. Or we're doing this ministry at my church, so let's reach out to Wesley Foundation and see if they want to help out. What I didn't consider is that many of these students themselves are the vulnerable population. They need to be ministered to. And so we also have to see them not just as a partner in ministry, but as another community that we need to support, individuals. And then there's the whole other, like, let's say just non-church side, just family wise, that I didn't realize that every year churches are supposed to, or ideally will report to their local Wesley Foundation, whatever graduate students that they have. If, any seniors, high school seniors, or any students that are in college or university, that year, you're supposed to report it to your local Wesley Foundation so that they have an opportunity to connect with those students. For parents that their child is starting to go to the university, it's a great peace of mind for the parents that might be worried that my baby's leaving the house and they're going to be so alone on this big, huge campus. It's a welcoming presence for them, with built-in new friends, community that's anxious to bring them into the fold, and just have a place to belong, to have a place to ask questions, to have a place to access resources like the copy machine. All around, it's an incredible ministry, and I'm just sad that I didn't realize it in that way early on. And I want to make sure you guys are aware of it so that you take advantage of the resources that are going to be coming out, so you understand how it connects to your church. And just bringing awareness for your people in the pews that they could directly support the campus ministry in your area, and that you guys can invite the campus ministry people onto your campus eventually, or via Zoom, to get to know your community, and your community can get to know them. So we'll have a whole series of resources available, like I mentioned, articles, social media stuff, videos for apportionment giving, the informational video that we're going to release for February 21st Sunday. I don't know when exactly we'll have it ready. We're working on it now, and we're getting close to finalizing the draft storyboard for it. So we might have it ready to go as early as, February 1st. No promises on that, but that's the goal, is to have it ready way in advance so you guys can plan out how you want to use it. 'Cause although February 21st is going to be the official DSC Campus Ministry Sunday, just like with general church Sundays, any of those special Sundays, you really could do them at any time in the year, whatever it is that your pastor decides. This makes sense for us. Maybe it's back to school Sunday, and that's when you want to celebrate it, however you want to use it. Okay. That's all I had for sharing for today from conference side of things. Let's do a round robin today. Unless there's any questions, let's do a round robin, introduce ourselves, and talk about something that's exciting that's happening at your church right now. First of all, any questions? Raise your hand. Okay. Then we'll start by a raise of hands for whoever raises their hand first gets to go first. And then that person, so you say your name, what church you're from, and then when you're done sharing something exciting that's happening at your church right now, select someone else to go after you. All right, Claire, thank you.
Sure. Hi, I'm Claire Sullivan. I'm the pastor at Liberty United Methodist Church in Buckeye. And this is my first time at a communications. I think I was a voyeur the last time. So the first time that I'm admitting that I'm participating. And I went first because this is the area in my life that brings me the most anxiety, and just my confidence is awful when it comes to this. But I specifically came today because I wanted to make sure that if I don't start hearing the conversations and just having it as part of my lexicon, I think that I won't ever advance. So in this case, it's a small rural church, and people really rely heavily on the pastor for the communication. Even though I formed a little team, we're working at trying to better realize how we are connecting in the city of Buckeye and all the expansive growth that is taking place, and making sure that at least we have a little bit of that notice and recognition that we can still support, even if we're small and old. We're okay. I'm sorry, I'm going to say Carla because I know her. Your turn.
I knew you were going to do that. I'm Carla Whitmire. I am the district administrative assistant for two districts in the conference, the North District with Dan Morley and the West District with Nancy Cushman. So I know some of you, and I was formerly in the East District, so I know even more of you. It's great to see you all. I'm kind of here just to hear what you have to say. My role has changed since COVID started, and I'm doing a lot more things that I've never done before. So it's just a great opportunity to find out what the local churches are doing. And Jim, I'm going to call on you because you're the first one in my screen.
You know what? Before Jim jumps in, I'm wondering, Carla, if you can share about the really cool video idea that your church is doing for stewardship.
Okay, so our church did this. We had a new pastor, Galen Boyette, in July 1. And to come in during COVID was a very difficult thing, as Claire will tell you, because she did that. When we, she got a slow start, not because of her, but just because of the difficulties. And when she got to October and we started talking about having a stewardship campaign, we kind of had some great ideas, but not a lot of time to implement them. And she was a little overwhelmed with the election season and didn't want stewardship to get lost in it. So we're actually doing our stewardship campaign right now. It started on Sunday, and we are focusing on your membership vows. And Sunday was baptism, reaffirmation of baptism Sunday. So that's what we started on. And we created some videos, and we created some fiscal messages and different things. And we actually have a schedule, and every day we send out a link to a video with a little introduction to it. And, or like today, we sent out a link to a little clip on the General Conference website about Charles and John Wesley talking about baptism, because that's what we're doing. Our next week, we're focusing on prayer, activities in the church. And then the last week, of course, we're focusing on the giving. So we're hitting all of the elements of the membership. And it's going pretty well. We're sending an email out to everybody every day with a link or a message. We have people who don't have email, so we're contacting them a couple times a week with Call Multiplier. And of course, our sermons, the Galen has our sermons. We're going to try, because we're focusing on baptism, and one of our videos is people telling stories of baptism, some funny, some serious. But so we are going to try doing a Zoom call on Friday so people can talk about reaffirming their baptism. And if we don't get too many talkers, too many shares, Galen might do a reaffirmation of baptism on the Zoom call. We haven't decided that yet. So it's a lot of work putting all this together. Christina saw one of our videos that we sent out yesterday. We took pictures of people getting baptized, and we just had somebody do a voiceover and talk about what it means, what baptism and membership into the church means. So we're hoping to spark a lot of interest in the church, and then we're letting them know what our needs are, and we'll see how it goes. We're doing a huge celebration on the end of the campaign, and we'd hope to be able to do some stuff in person, but it looks like we're just going to end up with a drive-by drop-off. But we are having everybody and all the families create posters about how they exhibit God's generosity. And we're going to post all those posters so when they drive through, they can look at the posters. We made a bookmark with a word cloud. We had emailed everybody back last fall and asked them what Crossing the Desert means to them. And we created a word cloud for them to see on one of our days. And so we're making a bookmark with that. And we're doing a food drive with it. We support Paradise Valley Food Bank. So that's one of the things we're doing. So it's a pretty intensive campaign. It was a lot of work up front, and now it's kind of nice because I'm just sitting back. I have all my emails created, all my blogs created. So every day I just get to watch it all happen. And yeah. Okay. And if anybody has any questions and wants to know more about it, contact me in the district, one of the district offices, and I will send you our, we have this really cool spreadsheet here. Oh, you can't see it. We have this really cool spreadsheet, and we are very fortunate in our church. We have a woman who, in her profession, that's what she did, was capital campaigns, and she does them for nonprofits all over the place, worked for Habitat for years. And so she helped put all this together. It was her vision, and then we just added everything to it. So, all right, go ahead, Jim.
Everybody wants her name, Carla.
Yes. Thanks, Carla. I'm Jim Truscott. I'm at Mission Bell United Methodist Church. I'm the lay leader, and then I also teach several Sunday school classes, and I'm a member of an international Bible study group that has been meeting here monthly. So that's kind of interesting too. We're having to do most of our meetings in our, I can't say the worship service, but we have done several worship services over Zoom, but I run most of the Zoom for the meetings and the Sunday school classes and so forth. We're doing a combination of online and pre-recorded messages for our Sunday worship. And we have a very dedicated team that's been doing a very good job with that. Beyond that, not much else. Nothing like Carla's got going there for stewardship. That's great. Oh, let's go with Chris. I know her.
Okay, I am Chris Krager. I'm with Dayspring EMC in Tempe. Our most exciting thing that we had going on has been postponed, unfortunately. We had a concert planned focused on lifting Black voices and Black composers and sort of decentering the perceived whiteness of music. So that was really exciting. That was supposed to happen on Sunday, but it has been postponed because one of our performers has COVID. So that is very sad. Other than that, we have our normal Sunday services. We've got 4 different new prayer groups that we've started. So we've got a group that meets together for prayer, but then we've also got a new class that's starting, which is different types of prayer, and just sort of every week they go through a different way to pray, if that makes sense. And then we're starting a Zoom class on praying with the elements. So that's what we have going on right now. And I am going to call on Holly.
For me, the most exciting thing right now is I'm hoping that there's a lull in our schedule. The stewardship campaign was large and involved, and then the whole Advent season was very busy. Christmas Eve, we had a live nativity and petting zoo, and lots of neighbors came over and introduced themselves, and it was a huge success. And then I put together a church calendar with all of the church holidays and every member's birthday and anniversary and all that, and that's now been distributed. So I'm hoping that we have a week or so where no big events are happening. That's what I'm most excited about. Let's see, who hasn't gone? Tempe first.
Hi, my name's Cassie Jones, and I'm at Tempe First. I'm the office administrator, and gosh, I'm also hoping the same as Holly that we have it quiets down. It does not look like it's happening because we are gearing up for a very large walk through Ash Wednesday, where we're doing the 7 symbols of Ash, and it's going to be a really fun event where there's just going to be stations with posters and symbols that you're going to be able to take home, each individually wrapped. We have Mirabella that just opened up, which is an ASU alumni building for 55 and older that just opened 2 weeks ago, not even a block from us. And so we are having an influx of new members, new blood, and also old members that are moving from their, homes of 40 and 50 years into a high rise. And so that's been a lot of fun because the buildings are not quite complete yet. So, and Tempe First is only like less than a block away. So they come and bug me during the day. So it's a lot of fun. They're like, I'm going to go for a stroll. And I've already been to Whole Foods like 5 times this week. So I'm going to come see how Cassie's doing. So I have a lot of visitors now where, it's been very quiet for 8 months because of COVID. And but we had a very successful pledge campaign. And then also, we also did a very similar I think, I can't remember who did the baptisms, where we had people to submit pictures of their baptism day and or memories of their baptism day, and we made a video collage of that, and that was a lot of fun. We had pictures from the 50s and 40s, and it was just very beautiful because we had all ages submitting really fun pictures and beautiful pictures and memories. Some were written, and they got to read them, and so somebody would go and videotape them, and so it became a really fun video. And so yeah, we are. I especially love it when people call into the office and say, "Well, it's COVID. Must be so quiet and lonely down there." And it's actually much busier than it was. And so we are. It's a constant busy schedule, and even with ASU, as quiet as it is, because of Mirabella opening. We just have every week they're letting, I think it's like 10 new families or couples move in to Mirabella, or singles. I'm not sure. I don't think there's any children or teenagers allowed in there, but that family units move in. And so we're having more and more people stroll down the street and see our church and come walking through. And we have a lot of benches where you can just sit, and it's very peaceful, and lots of trees and very woody in the center part of our church. And so it's been interesting to see the people come through, because you can tell that the most inexpensive apartment in Mirabella starts out at $700,000. So yeah, I saw Jim's face that my husband and I said the same thing, and they've been sold out for over a year. So, and they had to build a second building to accommodate the demand that they received. So so we're seeing a different clientele walking up and down University, where and you can tell, because we have these couples that are in their 60s or 70s or 80s that are holding hands, walking down University and walking into Tempe First and introducing themselves, where, they were not Methodist, but are wanting to find out about Tempe First. So that's been very exciting. So had to share that. Oh, I don't know who's left. Christina, do you know who is left on our, I think
Megan and Sherry haven't gone.
Oh,
yet.
okay. Megan, you get to go.
Hi all. It's been a revolving door in my office this morning, so apologize for my video being off and not paying attention to most of the meeting today. I think I'm supposed to talk about something exciting that's happening at the church, and we're in the midst of transition because we have a brand new pastor who started January 1st, and the pandemic is still going. And yeah, there's not a lot exciting happening at the church right now. We're working on trying to figure out what we're doing for Ash Wednesday, because we can hope that things will be better, but at this point we're planning for virtual instead of having to scrap everything the week before. And what we're talking about doing is I will have to put ashes in baggies so we can ship out ashes to our whole congregation, which is very exciting, but we usually have less than 100 people show up to both of our Ash Wednesday services, and I'm going to be sending out like 500 letters, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But yeah, we're still trucking along, so I'll consider that the excitement for the week. I think I heard Sherry is it.
Sherry, we're introducing ourselves and naming what church we're from and sharing something exciting that's happening at your church. And welcome.
My apologies, I'm late. First of all, I ended up with something else this morning. I wasn't even sure I was going to get on. But I, as much as anything, was just wanting to listen. So I'm from Prescott United Methodist Church, and hi, Jim. Jim and I work together on a team at another church, and he's terrific. there's not a ton of things exciting as much as anything. From my perspective, one of the things UMW is going to do is to become a community of care. We're going to start reaching out in different ways, and I call it spiritual or organic spirituality, where we've been in such a difficult time over this last year, and really going to pull back and work on ourselves. And we're actually going to use the finding peace in an anxious world, and using the serenity prayer and taking each quarter and gearing our programs toward that. So looking at pulling back in, doing some self-healing, working at community outreach in terms of people we haven't seen in a long time, making those phone calls and working on ourselves as much as anything until we can bring other people around. Aside from that, it's still the case of there is Sunday worship. The pastor bought special filters for the air filters for the church, and people are coming, and they're very widely spaced. You have to register to be able to come, and then also still has the virtual aspect of it. You can watch it on Zoom. So there's certainly a good number of people that watch it on Zoom. So that's probably it.
Great stuff. So we still have about 18 minutes. Does anybody have something to share about what their church is doing for Ash Wednesday? Maybe we can help Megan with some ideas, or something that you've heard of some other church doing, something you saw on Facebook.
Yeah, if anyone knows of if like Cokesbury or any of the websites are offering individually wrapped ashes, that would be awesome. I did a Google search when we were talking about it last week with our worship team, and was really surprised that I did a Google search and nobody was offering any sort of like little baggies of ashes to be able to ship out to your congregation, because I thought that would be a really something that they would have thought about doing for this year, especially since down here in Tucson, even the Catholic Diocese has canceled everything until Ash Wednesday. But if it doesn't get any better, I wouldn't be surprised if they still cancel, because you can't stay 6 feet apart with ashes.
I was contemplating using, wearing the gloves and taking the ash and putting it on a little card and mailing the card. And there still would be enough that I think if somebody truly wanted to ash themselves, they could. But I find that a lot of people like the idea of the ash and the cross, but don't need to have it on their head. That's just my take.
That's a cool idea. I'm going to bring that up to our new pastor, because go ahead.
We're going to do drive-through ashes, and then we've been doing outside worship, and so we'll have an outside service after that.
What time?
We're doing ashes from 3 to 5, and then a service from 5:30 to 6:30.
Thank you.
This is at Crossroads.
Megan.
Yeah.
I know that when we were searching for large pillared Advent candles, we saw they were little paper folded pouches of ash at a couple of the Catholic bookstores. One was in South Scottsdale, and one was in Tempe.
Okay.
And I saw those that they had, you could buy them individually for fairly inexpensive, or they had cases of them. And so I can email me and I'll send you those links to those bookstores. I know they do ship, because we purchase from, sometimes last minute we go to wherever we can find supplies. So
right.
So I did see that someone had done that, but it wasn't anybody that was Methodist. So
I'm subscribed to the Autumn, AUTOM catalog, because we bought our Christ candle from there one year.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
What is your email?
It's office@tempefirst.umc.org. And I already shared with you guys that we're doing the it's an actual book on Amazon, It's called Seven Symbols of Ash, and it's amazing. I mean, and I'm not very familiar with Ash Wednesday until I started working here a couple years ago, and I'm very excited to get to do this. And that we're going to be doing a walkthrough. They also have like stations in this little book. I think it's like only like $2 on Amazon, and they give you step-by-step instructions, the symbols, gosh, each station has like a scripture and what the symbol means, and so we're going to be doing that as a walk through our buildings, and because it's nice to get people out and about and keep them COVID safe, and so we're going to be making little like little time slots like what they do for like parent teacher conferences and people can sign up and come and walk through and keep it COVID friendly, and so I'm actually really excited about this because we had such a great turnout for the nativity, and and we've been having we even had the priest and the couple priests and a couple nuns from across the street, the Catholic student center that came over on Christmas Eve to see what we were doing. And so that was, and they're doing drive-through ashes over there at the Catholic Center. So, which we're not going to be doing drive-through. You're gonna have to actually get out of your car and walk through. So because communion and we have little tiny itty bitty COVID friendly communion cups, and they're just adorable, that will be given out at the end of the walkthrough. So yeah, it's gonna be fun, Ash Wednesday.
Nice. I've been thinking about a drive-through situation. My mom is the secretary at Sanctuary United Methodist up in Marana, and they do a drive-through communion, and they have a big long pizza peel, like one of those wooden pizza peels with a big long handle, and they put the stuff at the end and then pass it through the window, and they're far apart. And I was like, what if we did that for Ashes? But I'm running into the problem with my administrative counsel, who very rightfully so wants to be so very, very, very safe, which I totally get. But there are some things that we can't do virtually, if that makes sense. And so I'm trying to figure out the best way to have the best of all the worlds. Because they pretty much have shut down our church for good. At this point, I'm not imagining we'll be back until the CDC takes away all the restrictions.
Well, we are having another thing too, is that we're having quite a few of our women in the UMW are getting vaccinated all together, which I thought was really fun. And they all signed up and they thought they weren't going to be able to get vaccinated until like February or March. And they're like going next week as a group together to go get vaccinated. So this is very exciting because, we have, 90% of our church membership is over 55, and the other 10% is ASU students. And so, so that group can go and they're part of the next group to get vaccinated. So they're all excited. They're going to be going together and whooping it up, because many of them have not been, in close contact with each other for a long, long, long time. So.
Yeah, I was telling somebody that's the plus side of having such an aging congregation, is they should all be able to be vaccinated soon and we can open up.
Right. Or you could be like the church that I attend, because I'm LDS, where over 50% of our congregation has COVID now, and we've been in person now for 5 months, and our bishop got it, and everyone, half the congregation got it, and it's not good to watch on Zoom. And my family has not been in attendance for 2 months now, just because it got too unsafe in our opinion. Mm-hmm. And so to watch everyone get COVID was a very scary thing. So
yeah,
I agree with what the Methodist Church is doing with being safe, because definitely has cut down our numbers of spreading it in the congregations. So it's a good thing.
Yes. definitely.
Hey, Cassie, tell me one more time, what's the name of that book? Was it Seven Symbols of Ash?
Yes, it's called Seven Symbols of Ash, and it's on Amazon Prime, Kindle actually. It's on Kindle. So, and it's only, I think it's like, it was $2.49 or something like that. So don't quote me on the price, but I know it was under $3. Okay.
Cool.
Yep.
So if there's any other ideas you guys think of later, I'll probably send the follow-up from today's meeting. I'll start typing it up and schedule it to be sent out tomorrow morning. So you still have time to share something else. I've been taking notes while everybody's been sharing so that those people that couldn't make it today would still benefit from your ideas and cool stuff happening. How about in our last 8 minutes, is there anything that you guys have been thinking about? Like, I've been interested in looking into this software, this idea, or I've had this struggle. Does anybody have an idea for addressing it? Go ahead, Chris.
I'm wondering if anybody might know of a good magazine publishing program that's cheap. And I'm talking about like the PDF is done, so converting it and making it so it's accessible on like an e-reader or a tablet. I have not found anything good for that. So Christina, did you have something?
I do. So we use lulu.com to print on demand. But if I remember correctly, they also, wait, Lulu is the print on demand. That's what we use for the journal. Before that, we were using for Transformation Magazine. It's not a printer, but it is a way of offering a virtual, like online book.
Yeah, and that's what we're looking to do is just online publishing. We're using Issue right now, and it's
Issue.
Loving it.
You're not? Oh, that's what I was going to recommend.
Okay.
Shoot. Okay, well, we'll look into that. Unless, is there anybody else that's doing a digital book sharing type of thing?
Not yet.
All right, well, I'll add that in my notes for requests for ideas and see what we get from that. Anything else that somebody wants to share or ask? Go ahead, Sherry.
Again, I apologize. You may have already talked about all of this before I got on here. I'm interested to know, and I love the idea from the lady, and I don't see her name, from Tempe, about being able to go through the church. Does anybody have any idea what you've been doing to have more what I call touch points with your congregation, where it's not just Zoom and virtual, but rather that type of thing where it's even at a distance, not necessarily having a service, but just an idea like that, where you're actually where you're talking with the person, where you're staying in touch with the people that may fall through the cracks, that, for all sorts of reasons. I'm just curious. Yeah, Carla.
So we have a group that started, and they started probably about a month after and went all through the summer. And this is going to be a little challenging for you, but they would meet at a park every Friday, and it's not necessarily sanctioned by the church. It's not advertised in the church, and it started out mostly for the people who were alone, who didn't have anybody around, and so they would meet at the park on Friday morning and just visit for a couple, for an hour or so, and bring their own chairs and sit at a distance. So you could consider doing something like that at the church, and outdoors or indoors, because you guys do have some facilities to do that. But one of the things they found is, like I said, they originally started just having people who lived alone. And that was great for some social for them. But it kind of has expanded to couples come now. Everybody comes, and some of them are a little put off because it was just for the people that were alone. And that the one thing that if you're not alone, you just don't understand the difficulty that they're going through. I'm not, but I do have a daughter who is, and just the idea that she can go for months without seeing anybody, outside of just going to a store, but to have a meaningful conversation. And so this have the ability to get together for just a meaningful conversation, not a Bible study, not a worship service, but just how is it with your soul?
Thank you. That's a great idea. We're a little chillier up here than what you all are in Phoenix. This morning it was.
We did it all. They did it all the way through the summer, even when it was hot out.
But yes, to your point, yeah, when it warms up and gets nice enough up here, I think that's we're doing that with book clubs and other things, other stuff that I'm doing. I just think that's a critical piece to do. Where just exactly what you said, for the people that are lonely, they're the ones that are actually registering and going to church on Sunday for the most part, people that really need to be able to see somebody else. But I think that it'd be really great to be able to come up with more creative ways to be able to do that, even in our environment where it's chillier up here, that to be able to do that. But anyway, I was just interested. If anybody has any thought toward that, or of something else, just email me or something. It would be great to hear.
Well, and we do, we're very similar, but we're doing it on Zoom. They were doing it in people's yards, front yards actually, and at parks. Tempe can be a little unsafe though in the parks here. So they were doing it in front yards where they would all bring their lawn chairs and a dinner for themselves or a lunch and get together and have book reviews and or dinner and dialogue is what they call it. So there's different groups that have been doing that, but it got colder. And so they've been doing it on Zoom. And so, which, I dropped in on one, I want to say it was like 2 months ago, and it was so fun. They were having a game night, and it was just, you can get on Play-Doh, and it's, my kids were the ones who introduced it to me, and I was giving it to our Wesley pastor and our UMW person, and the ladies are playing Uno together, and there's Yahtzee and all kinds. It's different names. They give it different names online, but they're playing games and they're just hooting and hollering and having a really good time. And so it's been really funny to watch them. I think there's even a battleship, and some of our teachers, our retired teachers, are getting quite competitive with the battleship, and it's been hilarious to watch. But just they get together and have a game night once a week on Zoom, and we make that available to them. And it's not that long, and they've all learned to do, things. And we also have been sending out when we saw over Thanksgiving weekend when tablets were like $40 a piece, we sent out links to people saying, hey, this is a great opportunity to get a tablet so you can do Zoom, and who knows how long COVID is going to last. And people were able to, go out and get tablets and are participating in that because they're getting Play-Doh is quite fun. And Wesley does that also once a month. They have a game night, and they get quite competitive with that too. So it's not just for the older hearts, it's for the younger hearts too. So if you have, Sunday school groups, I know the Sunday school group got together with the kids, and I can't remember what game they played. And my daughter had joined them over Christmas break to play Play-Doh, and they were having such a great time. So
fabulous.
Great
Thank
idea.
you.
Can you spell Play-Doh?
I think it's PLATO with a T like in Tom. So, and it's an app on your phone. And you can also get it on your tablet, but it's, they have, I think it's about 70 or 80 games on it. And you can actually also play internationally. So if you have friends in like Spain or England, you can play with them over there too for free. So it's not a long distance call. So.
Nice. Very cool. Thank you so much.
Yep.
All right. It's the end of our time together. As usual, it's been really fruitful conversation. I hope that you guys keep finding benefit from this gathering. I believe we are scheduled to meet again next week on Tuesday. Let's see. Yes, we are. And we should have a newsletter coming out that day as well. So some of the stuff, if you received the conference newsletter, might seem a little redundant. I try to just highlight the items that I think might get missed, or where we definitely have resources for you to use through your church communication. So it shouldn't be a waste of time, but keep sending me emails with your questions and ideas for future Tuesday Talk conversations. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the day and beautiful rest of the week. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.